when I'm connected and really deeply connected with a friend or a family member, whomever, that's when I can really truly be myself and be better for others, right? I know there's life in connection, but I still kind of have to make that choice. I have to be comfortable with, I'm gonna be me.
As we are all uniquely made, and none of us are perfect, but most of us want good in our world. And when we don't listen to each other, or we're quick to judge or quick to just respond because this is the way that I think it is, and I want to prove my point, and we're not listening, we're never gonna get to the truest joy of being a human and coming together in community with people that think like us and that think differently than us. Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Love Local Chicagoland podcast. I am super excited to have Kevin Kramer here today, the Director of Economic Development with Hoffman Estates, to be able to talk about being a part of community and the importance of that, my friends. You see, the big topic around today is that you aren't alone. Our world's changed so much, it's going to continue to change, whether it's this thing, whether it's the internet, whether it's the social platforms. Our world's changing, but guess what? Us as humans, we haven't changed that much, and we're better in community. We're better when we belong and we're a part of something. I get to pick Kevin's brain today about being in community, the importance of it, and understanding that it's not about perfection, but it's about presence. And it's also, it's best to be able to focus in on what we could control versus the things that we can't control, but then come together in community. And when we do that, we're better and stronger together, which is a huge piece of why we're doing Love Local in general. So I'm super excited and honored to be able to interview Kevin Kramer today. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah,
I'm really excited. I feel like this episode is a long time in the making. We've talked about this probably a year or two ago.
I think I'm going to even throw out 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I mean, it was probably, when we were still back in the back studio. I remember it was out here at Bellworks, but we just gelled when we talked about community. We gelled on a lot of other things as well, but I think a common area that we believed was important to be able to talk about was like, we're better in community. And there's people out there in our world that are experiencing isolation, and if we could give them any tips and any help through our own life's experiences and our own lens to inspire them to get a part of something like that, we could do that. And I didn't start that conversation off like when we started like, hey, we're going to do this podcast. I asked you like, what's on your heart? And it was still that same thing. And I think some of the words you said is like, you're not alone, and wanting to make people feel like that. And you're an economic developer, man. At the end of the day, but you're also a father. You're a husband. You have 4 kids, right? 6 kids, right? Six kids. I messed up on that.
That's all right.
6 kids. That's a lot of noise inside of a house.
That's a lot.
So to be able to get into your heart and into your mind today to talk about community, to talk about how we are stronger together is something I'm really excited for. So you ready for the first question?
Let's roll. All
right.
Yeah.
So when you look at the world right now, what does "you are not alone" mean to you?
Yeah. You mentioned just kind of this advice for anybody who's feeling alone and in isolation. And I know I've been there a lot. I would probably argue most everyone has been. And in my role for what I do for Hoffman Estates, I'm kind of the salesman for the community, right? I go out and I say, hey, this is who we are. You should move your business here. We're a great place to live. Come move here. It's a very go out and meet people. I look very extroverted to everybody, but I'm a very introverted type of person. I kind of have to flip the switch before doing that. So I say that just because a lot of times you might see me and be like, wow, he knows a lot of people. He loves getting out there and chatting it up and talking and meeting. And while I do enjoy it, it's really draining. And so I need to kind of recharge sometimes. For a long time, I didn't recharge in the way I needed to. So I did feel alone. So what does "you are not alone" mean to me, at least to everybody, is that there's times when we can be in a crowd of people and completely alone. And there's times now that I can be completely isolated and never feel alone at all. So you are not alone is just that message of, there are a lot of things happening right now, but you do not have to be going through it alone. I've been telling a lot of people, whether it's family, friends, or colleagues, people I meet at networking events, that theme just seems to come up where it's like, yeah, you're not alone in that. Like, hey, actually, I just heard somebody else share about that same kind of thing, and all of a sudden realizing we have a lot of these same feelings of loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's part of the human experience a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like when there's a lot going on in our world, and it's like, where do I start? It does feel lonely at times, but coming from a place of like rest is what I hear you saying. Like you get your mind right, you get your body right, and then you go out into the world. You're not naturally an extroverted soul, but your job does require that. But coming from a place of like regrouping, getting yourself in a good spot, so when you go out there, you could be with people, you could be present with people, and through that, when people do that, I feel like you could have a sense of you're not alone. You could always go connect with somebody in that thing or that time. Where I feel like in this time in history with this thing, it could be very lonely at times if we're just in our algorithms, right? But to go out there and connect with people, come from a place of rest, I think is so important. So thanks for sharing. Why do you think so many people feel alone today, even when they're surrounded by people?
Yeah. I think a lot of it is that, is the devices that we get on. Mm-hmm. I think you can make really good connections on there, but I think it's going to be really difficult to make deep connections if all you're ever doing is staying on your phone. Like there's groups, right, of, hey, there's a networking event coming up, or there's a hobbyist club that they're having an event coming up. I can make that initial connection, but I still need to make that leap to go, because otherwise we're just not making those deep connections of experience, right? Of talking about and sharing our experiences, or actually sharing an experience together. That's why so many people will, hey, let's go get coffee. Let's go. Let's have a meal together. Let's do something that we can experience together. That's why, you look at. The other part of my job is just commercial real estate and being involved in that and hearing trends. And the trend from retail went from going into the store and buying something to how do you get the customer in the store? You make it an experience. So that's why we have a lot of these experiential things to do, team building with our coworkers, or fun game events with our families to get us talking and playing and laughing and experiencing things together and going through that struggle together too. Yeah, I think sometimes the phones, the devices can just keep us surface level and almost keep us feel like, look, I'm connected to a lot of people, and maybe on the surface you are, but do you take that next step to call that person that you are on the surface level with? Have an hour conversation, right? Like you and I first met, let's sit down and have coffee, and that's where we started to dive deeper. So I think like the danger with that is just staying in those algorithms, which are, by the way, designed to keep you in them because they know what you like and what you linger on and what you click on and stuff like that. So it wants to pull you in even more. We got to come out of them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we're more connected than ever before.
Totally.
But also could be very disconnected if we're only staying in here and we're not going to focus in on the deeper connection, which to me happens very much on the ground of being able to have coffee with somebody, to go take a walk with somebody, whatever that thing is, having a conversation around something that you're both passionate about, and you really get to understand people, and you understand that none of us really fit into a box, but at the end of the day, we're all made to belong, and we're better when we belong and we're being connected and focused on a deeper connection.
Yeah, and you say we're better, and better can be subjective. I would say we are more ourselves in the I'll speak in I terms. I am more myself when I am connected, meaning my true self, not that false self that goes out there and to put on the facade to say, oh, this is who I am because this is who I want to show you I am. But when I'm connected and really deeply connected with a friend or a family member or whomever, that's when I can really truly be myself and be better for others, right? That's when I can be better, is when I can be who I was made to be.
Yeah.
And I can't be any more than that. If I'm trying to be more than that, then I'm not going to be better. Then I'm not really myself. I'm not that true gift of me to somebody else, because I am, I'll say this, I'm unique, but I'm not unique. I'm unique in who Kevin is, but I'm not unique in, I have the same experiences and feelings and struggles and joys that everyone else does. So finding that community where I can call up a buddy and say, this is what I'm really struggling with today. And he says, oh yeah, I've actually struggled with that too.
Then you feel like you're not alone.
And exactly. And then I feel like I'm not alone. And we don't resolve the problem. Like, I'm still struggling, but I hang up and I'm thinking, man, that was great. And then I go back to work and like, I'm crushing it at work because my day is so much better because I know I'm not alone in that. And that even if that hardship, that trouble, that struggle still persists, like there's some other part of me knows that I'm not alone because I've voiced it and somebody else said, yeah, me too, right? I share in that struggle with you. I'm with you in it. And that's just like, ooh, all right,
yeah.
I can do this now. I love, a buddy shared with me one time, I don't know where this comes from, but don't quote me as saying it, but cool. Joy shared is doubled and grief shared is halved.
Ooh.
And I loved that. And I still think about it now. Like when I call just to talk to friends or something or to connect or even on the way here, I was calling my aunt just to check in on her. How you doing? I know she's had some health. What's going on? And then I like to share my wins and my weaknesses. So like, hey, here's my weakness. Here's what I'm struggling with today or this week or whatever. Because that allows, with this person that I've made a deeper connection with, that allows for that vulnerability for me as a person to be seen, to be known, and to be loved for who I am. And that's deeply what I crave. I think that's deeply what we all crave.
Yeah.
But then I don't just leave it as like, oh, all I ever do is struggle. It's only hardship and I'm terrible. And I had these wins too. And it can be just like your standard gratitude list of, I have my health today. I had food to eat. I'm grateful I had a car that got me to the building today so I could come see you, right? Or it could be the win of like, hey, I was present with my kids today. I could have chosen to play a game on my phone, and I chose to sit down and read a book with them instead. Like, that's a huge win for me. So like sharing those wins and those weaknesses is what I found is like, hey, I want to share in the wins because those are the joys that are going to double. Because when I share that with that same friend I called, he's like, that's amazing, good job. Like we're both sharing in that joy. On the flip side, when I share like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, or a close family friend passed away last week and I was struggling, and just sharing that with somebody, all of a sudden my grief, grief is halved. Maybe not fully 50%, but I know that like I'm not the only one in it. And he says, I know, like I've lost my mom too. It's hard. I didn't lose my mom, by the way. In this case, it was a close family friend, but I know I've lost somebody too. I'll pray for you in that. Let me know if I can help with anything else. And it just kind of takes a little bit of that grief off too. So anyway.
Yeah,
way off topic, but there you go.
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we're better together, and we're made to belong. Yeah. And I feel like, not to go back to COVID time frames, we learned a lot during that time that like, oh, we really are built for community. We're not built to sit inside of our homes and just talk to ourselves all day. We're built to connect with people. And when we get to show up as our authentic selves, when we're who God made us to be in our hearts, even if people think differently, if we're allowing each other to and sitting with each other as our authentic selves, not only do we change, but as we go out into the world, that ripple effect completely changes because we are stronger together, but we have to support each other in the good and the bads, if that makes any sense, in order to be able to get there. To be able to say, joy shared is doubled and grief shared is split in half. Like, I think that's really profound because it's like grief hits everybody differently. So to try to compare your grief to somebody else's grief, that I don't think that's not what you're saying. It's more like when I know that somebody cares that I'm going through something that's hard, or that I just lost a job, or I just lost a loved one, or I just lost a business, or I just lost whatever that loss could be. When you have somebody that actually cares and that is there to be like, oh, I'm sorry you're going through that, and leads with empathy, I think there's really a level of encouragement that gives to the person that is going through that hard times. But it also, to your point, it also flips when I'm like, we just won, or we just, in business, we just had our best sales ever. And somebody gets to be excited for you. That also feels good. So it goes back to when we get to be together in community and we are allowing each other to be our authentic selves, there's this level of belongingness that can't be replicated through any artificial intelligence, through any algorithm. And to me, that's the secret of life that could help us live joyfully, even in the storms. And because life is going to give those storms, as we all know it. That's one of the things I feel like in life. There's no way you're not going to have the ups and the downs. That's just a part of this human ride.
Well, and we're never going to get to all your questions, but
that's all right. Keep going.
Just keeping going. And you mentioned artificial intelligence, and I remember reading earlier this year, Harvard Business Review talked about the number 1 or number 2 use for AI around the world is companionship.
Whew.
And that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, man, there's so that right there says so many people are feeling alone when you're going to AI to be my friend kind of thing. Because as great as that is, to have somebody that will listen to you and hear you and maybe even respond empathetically, because I think you can train an AI to do that. Until we have humanoid robots, the other piece, just learning from COVID, was a hug, or a touch on the shoulder, or a handshake, a fist bump when you win, whatever, just like that physical contact. Until we have the humanoid robots that can gently do that, that's the other piece of in-person companionships that you don't get on your algorithms from a connection. I mean, you came in and we shook hands, but then it was like, give me a hug, because there's just something about that, the energy that passes between two people who have connected before, but then on an even deeper level, that you just can't get from staying in the digital world, that you need to come out. And again, I think there's a great importance to our digital world, to connecting us and to keeping us connected. But we need that in-person community to remind us that there's more than just the digital world too.
The in-person community, I feel like, is something that we're going to continue to fiend for more and more as we evolve. This is my personal opinion. I think artificial intelligence will change the world. And I heard people, his name is Seth Godin. He's a PhD from Stanford, but he does written a lot of books around marketing and around the psychology of the mind when it comes to selling. And he would say artificial intelligence is going to change our world like electricity changed it. And when I agree with that from everything that I've learned about, but what I feel like is as people go more artificial intelligence and use it more and more, it's never going to be more important to be human. And there's certain things that artificial intelligence cannot replicate, and that's human feelings. They could give you some whitewashed answer that maybe works or maybe it's not, but is there really any heart behind it? when you connect with somebody and there's a hug and there's a common respect for one another, there's a heart piece behind it, which to me is what makes us all human. That's part of the human ride. It's the brain, yes, but it's the brain plus the heart that makes us who we are, right? It to me I could see the world going very heavy in AI, but I feel like it's never. The soft skills of being a human are going to be even more and more important, because caring for one another, supporting one another, all the other stuff's going to be, a lot of automation's going to happen, all this stuff that's going to take away a lot of our things as humans that we do on a day-to-day basis because of artificial intelligence. Nothing's going to replace a hug. Nothing's going to replace a friend that cares because you're going through a really hard time, or you're just having a bad day for whatever reason. Those things are what makes us human. You talked about being present throughout this conversation and in our prep call, which is something to me has been a practice that I've had to overcome and to get into because of my ADHD brain and this level of perfectionism that could come along with that. But being present is really a gift, not only to yourself, but to the person that you're there with. For you, what does being present actually look like in the middle of everyday chaos?
I so want to be a multitasker.
Yeah.
Every time I try it, I fail.
Same.
So what does it look like? It looks like doing the next right thing and just that thing. I was thinking even about that on the way here. Like, I was so present to the meeting I was in before this that it was like on my way here, I'm like, okay, I gotta switch. But like I said, like I called my aunt because I wanted to check in on her and connect with her. But so I was present to that conversation and not thinking about this. Then I sit down with you and, okay, I am here with you. My phone is in my pocket. It's on airplane mode. I'm not getting any distractions right now. Presence, which you're absolutely right. Like, we need to practice it over and over. And I'm a perfectly imperfect human that fails a lot and forgets a lot and has to remind myself, like, oh yeah, I wanted to be present today. Well, let me restart now at 2:00 in the afternoon and be present here in this meeting. And it means I'm just talking with you. I hear of a lot of I like biographies, autobiographies, and a lot of the great ones talk about people say, when they were talking to me, I felt like I was the only person in the world, not just in the room. And so when I go to networking events, I'm trying to be present there. Yes, there's going to be times when I get pulled away with, I'm at that networking event and my wife texts to say, kid fell, going to the hospital, needing stitches. Okay, like, I need to be present to her. I need to step away from this and check in there. But when I'm there, I want to be talking just with you. When I'm sitting at my desk typing up an agreement or something, or working on an email or whatever it is, like, I just want to be present with that. I don't want to be doing that and playing a game on my phone and talking to that coworker. And the other example is, I have an open door policy. Unless my door is closed, then don't come in because I'm trying to get work done. So when people pop in, I have a really bad, talk about leading with weaknesses, I have a really bad tendency of, I'm going to finish this email. Yep, go ahead, talk to me. Yeah, yep, and sent. Okay, now I have a really bad habit of trying to do 2 or 3 things at once. And that's not fair to that person. To your point, like, I'm not giving the gift of myself to them. And I loved how you said it too. I'm not giving the gift of myself to me when I'm not fully present. So yeah, I struggle at it a lot, especially when it comes to kids. I think I read a lot of parenting books too, or listen to a lot. So I know that must be a thing that a lot of us parents struggle with, is like being present with our kids, especially with a phone, especially with the tendency to well, this person texted me. I'm trying to set up meeting plans, right? Like what happened 30 years ago? Well, my mom would pick up the phone and dial with the cord, right?
Yeah.
I love those things, or rotary dial.
Does this maybe use a rotary dial?
Yeah, those were great. Unless your friend had a bunch of zeros in their phone number, and then it was just super frustrating because it took forever. But she would be on the phone, and I'd see, okay, she's on the phone. I got to be quiet. I'm not talking to her. Well, now we're doing the same thing. I'm trying to book plans for a kid play date or planning out who's bringing snacks to the soccer game or whatever, and I'm texting that. But all my kids look up and see me on my phone. So they're asking me a question. They're trying to tell me about their day, and here I am distracted on my phone, which is something that is good. We do have to figure out who's bringing snacks for the soccer game, right? Like that is a good, but my kids are seeing me not being present to them when they're saying, hey, this is what happened at school today. Hang on a second. Nope, I want to hear you. Just hang on a second. And there's that push and pull from I'm not giving myself to them, and I'm not giving the gift of myself even to me, or receiving their gift because I'm distracted. So yeah.
It's I'm a broken human as well, and so as you share your perspective on that, I'm like, oh, I have a lot of that in me too. And I had a boss in previous life that if you would walk in, she would send an email, or if she was doing anything, she would just be like, I need 1 minute. I want to be fully present with you. I just want to finish up with this one thing. I'm so glad you're here. She would go finish that up, and she would come right back. And I fail on this a lot, but I try to come back to that place. And at work, I feel like I'm maybe a little bit better at it, but I still suck at it from time to time. But the kids is hard because kids could come at you at any given moment in time. We are very connected now, and they don't have your work on their radar. For you, what's a boundary that you've put in with technology that's helped made a real difference for you and your family?
Ooh, good question. So let me start off with saying we struggle with it, with phones at home. And we've gone through cycles of, okay, we're both going to put our phones down. So my kids are 12, 9, 6, 6, 4, and 2. So they don't have phones right now. We haven't done phones for them. We've just said not till you're 16, till you can drive, which my 12-year-old daughter rips her heart because she wants a phone now. And then I think, actually, maybe I'll take that back. You won't get one when you're 16. I'll just buy a phone for the car, and it has to one of those old car phones, and it can be one of those that just stays in the car. So then you don't have a phone. And I do that just to tease her and get the eye roll, which is heavy eye rolls from
12-year-old girls, right, very heavy
to their dads.
Yes.
So we've gone through cycles. What are we going to do? Limiting screen time, that kind of stuff. Okay, when we're home, we're putting the phones up in a little tray on the refrigerator or something just to keep them off. But that comes and goes. I think the thing we've been most consistent is no phones at mealtime. That we sit down for family dinner or family breakfast. We were talking probably before we recorded here just about breakfast time with 6 kids. It can get a little crazy. To your point, sometimes I have 4 kids talking to me at one time. I counted in an 8-second span. I heard the name Dad yelled out 12 times. I can't respond to everybody and be fully present. So that's where that tactic of you're first, hang on, I want to get to you. Yes. But no phones, no devices at meal times, right? So we sit down at the dinner table. My wife and I are putting our phones away. We're not on them. And then we talk. We have conversation because I think it's important to teach our kids how to interact, how to speak and share. And so we'll go around the table, not every night, but a lot of nights the kids enjoy doing something we call high-low buffalo. And it's just your high for the day, something good, a win, something that was cool that you really liked, something awesome that happened, a low, something that was hard or sad or a struggle or something that you didn't like. And then a buffalo can be anything you want. It can be a joke, a fact. It can be another high or low. It can be just that A lot of times I get, and I love dad, just because I can't think of something. Like any other thing you want to say can be our high-low buffalo, and we go around so that we can connect. Now, that being said, there's exceptions to every rule, right? So some nights it's, you know what? It's pizza movie night. We're going to lay out a blanket and do a picnic and watch a movie tonight. And we don't sit around the table, and there are devices because the TV's on. But in general, trying to be conscious about it, about I don't want to be on my phone right now. And also, I've been guilty of this. I don't want to go upstairs to my bedroom just to send that work email real quick so the kids don't see me. I don't want to isolate to send that work email and kind of feel like I'm hiding, because that's not my true self either. Like, I've committed. We're not going to be on phones right now, during the dinner hour. So let me put it down. So, just making that conscious effort around mealtime. And that's when all of us are gathered together, or if half of us are together, because the other half is out at activities or something with the kids. But meal times are sacred in our house.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's I feel like mealtime, because we're so connected, things seem to go really fast right now. As a whole, aren't always very much a priority for families anymore. Not everybody, and I'm not trying to put everybody in a box, but I'm comparing it to our grandparents' generation, where there was a bell. Mm-hmm. And you come to that table, and if you don't, you're not going to eat, right? That was probably the rule. Yeah. But the importance of just showing up that way, to me, is life's going to get crazy. There's going to be times where you're going to have to answer emails at home, and whatever that case is. But to make that time intentional, where you're showing up, present with your kids and with your wife, and getting to know them and getting to know their personalities and connecting with them, to me, I think is a tradition. I hope we could bring more. We could bring it back into to be a very big thing within our society, because to me, anything that we want happening in our world starts at home. Mm-hmm. So to have that presence at home is so important.
And even I would say, again, my kids are younger. We still have a lot of activities we're running around to, even if it's not every night. Commit to once a week. Of we're going to make this day, whatever day you have the least amount of, that's the day where we're going to share a meal together, right? And stay off our devices and connect as a family.
Yeah. For you, thanks for sharing that. Why is presence, especially with our kids, our wives or husbands and friends, more important than perfection?
The more present we are, the more of a gift of ourselves we can give to others. And when we're doing that, we're becoming the people that we were made to be. Mm-hmm. And then we will get closer to perfection if we are living the life that God intends to be the person we were made to be.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get to be perfect. I'm imperfect. I'm a sinner. I fail. I struggle. I fall a lot. But the more present I am to my wife, to that conversation, to my kids, to my coworkers, to the community in my life, I think we'll get closer to perfect, remembering I'm never going to get there. I'm still going to fall. I'm still going to struggle. And that's when I can be present to them. Hopefully they can then be present to me in that struggle.
Yeah. To me, it's one of the greatest gifts we could give somebody, is to be our authentic selves. We want them to be their authentic selves, and we're 100% present with them. And then I think curiosity, within those things, you could develop beautiful relationships, whether that's in home or without. Yeah. We talked a little bit about this already. Just to dive into a little bit more, we'll jump on to the next segment, is around looking at the algorithm and looking at the importance of community. What do you think we need to do to be able to rediscover community and getting out of our algorithm? If you had to, what is an important trait we need to be thinking about as humans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was a little of what we touched on in terms of empathy. every year I'll kind of, actually around December time, I'll kind of pray, what should my word of the year be? And I kind of take a word of the year, try and really embody that throughout the year. This year, my word was listen, because I was noticing a lot of times when you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to answer that? Okay, this is the thing I'll say next, and then this, and then this. And I don't hear the last half of what you said.
Totally.
And so that pulls me out of presence, of being a gift to you, to fully listen to you, because I don't need to respond back right away. You could share something, and if I'm fully listening to you, then I will take a moment and respond. I don't have to respond right away. And so I've really been trying to listen this year. And I think that gets back to, if I'm listening to others, that's one kind of easy thing to do, is listen to someone in your life today. We all have people in our lives, whether they're passing by, whether they're in our household, whether they're at work, whether wherever. Just choose to listen to that one person today. And actively listen. And don't listen and plan your rebuttal or plan your response. Just listen to them. Because I think the other thing we do often, I know I do it often, is, Jason, you're coming at me, you're sharing something really deeply emotional, and I'm not listening. So I'm down here at more of a practical level. Right, you're sharing about your day and what's going on, and I heard, what's going on? Well, here's how I'm going to fix it. Here's the practical side of it. When you're not needing the fixing it, you're just needing me to listen and bring back that empathy, to sit with you in it. Right. So I need, if I'm actively listening, I'm going to hear you up here, and I'm going to come up to this more emotional level with you. And not try and fix it because you're not wanting that, right? Like that's always the joke. I'm very guilty of that. If you ask my wife, I do try and she brings something and I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. Here's the ways to, and no, I didn't want you to fix it. I just wanted to share it with you. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think starting with listening, active listening, without planning a response, so that then we can enter into that empathy a little bit deeper, changes a lot. Yeah,
we could understand each other then. I feel like I think this is a part of it. I think by human nature, to not always listen, but to be preparing our response. And I think, to me, I would agree with you. Like, listening helps us live better in community. If we're our authentic selves and we're listening, and if there's this level of curiosity that is there, we could really, truly understand each other. That maybe even have a disagreement that you don't think the same views on, but if you are listening to them, maybe you broaden your perspective or broaden your perception. And I think that's so important because we are all uniquely made, and none of us are perfect. But most of us want good in our world. And when we don't listen to each other, or we're quick to judge or quick to just respond because this is the way that I think it is, and I want to prove my point, and we're not listening, we're never going to get to the truest joy of being a human and coming together in community with people that think like us and that think differently than us.
Well, and to your point, I'm going to say when I respond that way, this is what I got to get my point out there. I got to prove that I'm right. I'm acting out of a place of fear and of worry and not a place of self-gift. And you see a lot of that in responses to comments online. It's a lot easier to fire off a response of, this is why you're wrong and why I'm right. And there's not that, because you haven't built that bond with the stranger, you're just acting out of a place of fear and needing to prove you're right and prove your own self-worth when you have self-worth as you are, as your true person. Give that gift to somebody. And maybe it's not firing off a comment online. It's going to have that dialogue with a friend or a stranger who becomes a friend in person. And like you said, yeah, we can agree to disagree. I think we've lost a lot of that in our world because we're just so used to firing off out of a place of fear of, here's why I'm right and you're wrong.
Yeah, and it's well said. And I feel like I do, looking at social media, looking at our world right now without getting into any of it too deep, but high level overview, our community hears me say, get out of your algorithm and get into your community, but also it's important to build bigger tables and invite more people to the table, invite people with diverse opinions to the table and do that and to seek to understand each other. It's really, social media. I don't think we're going to solve problems on social media because it's just like, well, I'm jumping right back at you because we're not able to listen. We could write something out, but are we really listening? And are we really understanding where that person's coming from? Or something I've seen on social media is I'll write something and like somebody will think I'm yelling because I'm like, well, I'm not yelling at all. This is just my point of view. That's just how you're interpreting it. Yeah. And that's easy when you're scrolling and you're like, oh, this person doesn't think like me, it thinks differently. It's easy to do that. I challenge people to like, if you see somebody that has a difference of opinion than you, that you're connected with, like go out and have coffee with them. Go grab lunch. Understand where they're coming from. Us as humans, most of us, whether we're right or not, is up to interpretation. But most of us want to come from a place of good. Yeah. And we think we're doing what we think is right in our world. Well, if we're in a divisive time or divisive topic and we're not talking to each other, what if we're both right? And what if we're just not understanding one another's points of view? And maybe when we talk to each other, we could understand another's viewpoint that could broaden your perception, and together you grow together in community, and you're not alone. But if we don't listen, and if we're just waiting to respond, I feel like that is dangerous. Yeah. For you, why is healthy disagreement important in community, and how do you think we respect it?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we don't have enough healthy disagreement. We have lots of disagreement, lots of conflict, right? But not of the healthy kind where it truly helps me to be a better person. In a meeting, there's a lot of good stuff out there about why conflict is good in your meetings, right? At a bigger table where more people are bringing up I don't see it that way. And having that healthy disagreement where we can then all understand one another and maybe come up with a better product. It's not A, it's not B. We've talked it out, and actually C works better for us, whether it's in our marriage, in our parenting, in our friendship, at work with a project we're working on. Like actually this third option that we all came together, even though we disagreed upon on A and B, we all came together, we're gonna get a better outcome. Now I say outcome, the other thing I think about when I say that is rarely, if ever, can I truly control the outcome, but I can control how I act. And if I'm operating from a place of goodness, from truth, from a place of love and wanting the best, love is willing the good of the other, so wanting the best for you and everyone else at the table, at the meeting, at home. If I'm wanting that, we're going to get something better coming out of this disagreement. If I'm truly operating from that place and operating from the place of, again, I can't control the outcome, but I can control how I act in it. And you mentioned channeling. It takes me to the prayer of St. Francis, where he talks about to be a channel of God's peace, right? And to seek to understand rather than to be understood, and to be loved rather than to be loved, right? Like if we come to discussions, to meetings, to whatever, seeking to understand the other person rather than for my side to be heard, for me to be, understood by someone else, that's going to open them up to say, oh, maybe I should understand their perspective too, or at least it's going to keep me in a better spot, right? Yeah.
What if, I wrote something, it was a social media post, it was a poem of sorts that I wrote, but like, what if we're both right? Or what if we're both wrong? the importance of sitting down at the table with people that think differently, and that think differently. It should be a blend, but that have diverse opinions. The goal is if best ideas win out. With that at the foundation of this table, or hypothetically, however it looks. What if I get to hear your side, you get to hear my side, and we understand each other, and we realize that maybe there's a third way, just like you're saying, or a fourth way that's actually better. Mm-hmm. It's something that I feel like I hear through Village networking, which is I'm a part of, and other people that are in our community, my faith community too, best ideas win out, but it's about building win-wins. If we can come to the table and seek to understand each other, then focus in on building a win-win, we all could win, or we both could win, whatever that thing is. Yeah. And my hope is, as we continue to go forward in society, is that we could want the best for other people, and we could want to be able to focus in on being able to build win-wins. Because I think if we want to build a better tomorrow, if we want to leave this generation better than we found it, there's a lot going on in our world right now, and there's some divisiveness in it. There's a lot of great things happening in our world, but there's divisiveness too. Well, do we really want that, or do we want to come together in love and being able to listen to understand each other, and then create that win-win? And in what that win-win could be, I hope and pray that we could come together in community to continue to strengthen that within our society, because I think that's where true abundance could happen, especially with tools like AI. You're talking about blockchain. The world's going to change dramatically. But if we get, at the end of the day, none of that matters if we can't sit down and be able to build a win-win with each other. Yeah. We talked about being introverted. I could say that I come from a place of very similar to you. I am a lot of introvert tendencies that I not naturally want to go out and go network and to do all these things. It's really hard for me. I need that energy to be able to do it. But I also know that there's a lot of power in being an introvert with an introvert tendencies when you go out and network and you come from a place of wanting to hear and understand and get to know people. I think that to me is a superpower of introverts, our ability to slow down, to listen, we might not be good at small talk all the time. But for someone who has introverted tendencies, what does it look like to step into spaces that require connection?
Yeah. It looks like this. Okay, let's go. And I flip the switch and I jump in, because I know there's life in connection, but I still kind of have to make that choice. I have to be comfortable with, I'm going to be me. I'm going to take off the mask of who I want everybody to think I am, and I'm going to be me. I'm going to be my authentic self, right? Like, people are attracted, I'm attracted to authenticity, because you kind of see through the fake. So going out there to be the real me, and some days I go to those events and I do just kind of want to hang along the wall because I'm not really feeling it, but that's me that day. And usually when I do that, somebody will come on over and chat me up a little bit, and then I start to come out of my shell because I'm connecting. And to your point about small talk, for all those introverts out there who don't know how to small talk, yeah, you can always talk weather. Go with summer vacations. Where do you like to travel, kind of thing? Because everybody likes to talk about that. There's always those. Use AI for that. What curious question should I ask to make small talk at a networking event? Because those are out there, and that's a good way to use AI, is to help me connect more. But it looks like trying to be my authentic self, to go out there.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and I think it was Ragu, which is somebody that we both know. I'm sure other people have said it too, but I thought it to be insightful on adding to what you're saying is, you don't have to be interesting or interesting yourself. Be interested in other people.
Yes.
That's the gift, and just wonder about them. and the true connection that happens when you're interested in other people, and all of a sudden they're interested in you. And if you're showing up as your authentic self, that true connection really happens.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's, because there's different levels of making connection when you go out there, whether it's to a networking event or even at a family reunion of people you only see once a year kind of thing, and wanting to reconnect with them. There's different levels of questions you can ask, right? I can ask you, hey, how's your week been going? And you can tell me. Or I can say, hey, what was, one of your biggest struggles this week? That's going to take us from like, hey, how's your week been going, to deep already. What's one of your biggest struggles this week? Or
take away the small talk and let's go,
absolutely.
right?
Let's just dive in. And again, depending on how well you know them, maybe if it's a stranger, you're not going up right away. But at the family reunion, maybe you're asking, hey, what was one thing you really struggled with this year? Here's one thing I did, and you can start out, or like you said, be interested in them. And they'll open up, and that's when real connection can happen, because chances are they'll ask you back. So yeah, the type of question, I love curious questions. That's the other thing I'm working on this year, is asking curious questions. When your kids come home, don't just say, hey, how was school? Oh, good. What'd you do? Nothing. Ask them like, what was one thing that was really hard today? Right? Hey, how was recess? Oh, it was fun. Well, what was so fun about it? What did you do at recess that was amazing, right? Ask them like that deeper question that can't be a one-word answer, to pull something out of them.
Yeah, curiosity to me is one of the greatest gifts of being a human.
Yeah.
And I haven't always used it, but to me, I struggled with networking in general, because I was coming from the mindset of I had to be interesting, right? And when I flipped the script and focused in on being interested in other people and leading with curiosity, like it literally led to what we're doing right now, because I found joy in seeing what lights people up, right? And when they reciprocate that, then they get to figure out what lights you up. That connection is deeper, and to me, it helps us live a better human experience, where we're coming from a place of love and like wanting people to like have joy and to be interested in somebody, so that when you see them next time, you can be like, well, how was that thing? How was your family vacation? And all of a sudden the connection continues to get deeper. Or you see that you met that person, now you see the social media posts of them and their family on a hiking trip, and you get to ask about that. It strengthens that connection when you lead with curiosity and to your point, you've said numerous times, when you show up as your authentic self.
Yeah.
So you're not the mayor of Hoffman Estates, but you might as well be. Off the record. Off the record. But the reason for that is just you're connected, and you're in a lot of different spaces around the community, not just Hoffman Estates, but other areas too. As an introverted soul that has to breathe, that has to find that energy, that can't be easy. But I want to look at this segment as we continue to get closer to wrapping up, is just where to be able to plug in locally. From where you sit in Hoffman Estates, what are the easiest low pressure places to be able to plug into community?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Like, I think the Village Networking Group is amazing, right? Like, you can walk into Bellworks, right? And have a meal with people and chat with some people and just get connected. That's from the business side, right? From kind of the resident side in the area, you bring up the mayor. He's been in office for 45 years. It's really hard to do anything consistently for 45 years, much less get reelected over and over, which means you must be doing something well.
People must like you.
And he does a fantastic job. One thing he does is a Wine Wednesday once a month at a restaurant or a business in town, just to bring people together, to connect for that opportunity. From the village side, the other thing we're doing right now is we're going through a whole strategic plan for the village of not just, what development do we want to see here and there, but what do we want to become? What type of services do we want to be able to provide? How can we better serve our residents, our businesses? So it's called Hello Hoffman. You can go hellohoffman.com. Add some survey input there to be able to say, this is what I want from my community. This is how I want to be able to connect and get involved and be able to create deeper community connections.
Yeah, I love that. From your perspective, how have small groups, whether business, faith, a hobby, or just somebody in your neighborhood, help lift? How can it help lift people out of isolation?
Yeah, it's great to walk into a room with 100 people and meet them all, but chances are you're not going to go deep with all of them, right? I'm great at remembering things, but not citing where they're from, which is perfect for the listener who can't ever, fact check me because, whatever. It talked about like we can have 150 contacts, right? Like that's who we can have within our network. You can have 3,000 connections on LinkedIn or 4,000 friends on Facebook, but you're not going to be really connected and friends with them all, right? You can have about 150 within your circle, but only about 5 or so can you really go deep with. Maybe 5 to 8 or so that you're checking in and talking to often. And so I think those small groups is where, it's great to meet a lot, but then picking out a few that, hey, we kind of clicked pretty well. Do the 4 of us, you want to go get coffee and dive in? And whether it's a faith-based group where, hey, we're going to meet on a certain topic and talk about our faith and share our faith with each other, whether it's a business group and, hey, we're just going to share about the struggles of being business owners and what that's like and the joys and the wins, right? Like I talked wins and weaknesses or whatever it is, but like the small groups, that's where the deeper roots, the deeper connections get formed. And that's why I encourage people like, hey, it's great to meet here, but go to those, and you'll see some kind of other chambers in the area that, they have 400 members, but there's this other specific networking group within there where they only allow 15 or 20 to kind of foster some of those deeper relationships. So small groups are critical. Yeah.
It's easier to go deep in small groups, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing you say. You get to go deep, you get to know each other better, you get to dive in on certain topics that you're both passionate about or the group is passionate about.
Yeah, you in college, I was part of a group where like win events, they would have, the pizza and bowling event and everyone's welcome and that's where you got a lot of people to come in. But then they had build events where it was more, okay, now we're just going to take this small group to build each other up. You need those big events, those big groups where you can meet a lot of people and see, okay, I think I'm going to connect with you a little more. We did connect, but now I want to build up with you. I want to grow the roots down and build up, foundation and building, roots and trees, whatever analogy you want to use. I want to go deeper and build up higher with you.
Yeah, I love that. As we get ready to wrap this up, any last words of wisdom that we haven't touched base on that you want the community to know about Kevin Kramer or this topic about, you're not alone and we're better in community?
I feel like we talked about a lot. I guess I would just say, you are not alone. And there is a person or a community out there for everyone, right? Mm-hmm. And it may take you a while. It took me decades to find like a really close group, a really close community. And that's okay. For me, it's all in God's time. Like I wasn't meant to find that community, 10 years ago. I was meant to find it 5 years ago, whatever it was. Like it'll happen. But it does take some effort to get out there and open up and to be interested in others and to listen to others and to share with them.
Yeah, just start, right? You don't have to solve it. Just start. Go one right move, and maybe it's right, maybe it's not.
And it's
right?
okay to make those mistakes when you're trying.
Yeah, amen. Yeah. If somebody's looking to connect with you, where can they connect with you?
On our website through the Village, my email, my phone number is there. LinkedIn, that's the only social media I'm still on. Yeah. But happy to
There's wisdom in
there.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today. Thanks for the small talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I appreciate your insights and gives me a lot of hope for the future to talk with people like you that are in the position that you're in. And you're coming from a place of community, coming from a place of understanding that when we lead with curiosity and that we show up as our authentic selves, like we create a vibrant community, and especially when we have a really good economic developer leading the way, bringing good businesses here. So appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. My pleasure. My friends, thanks for watching. We're better in community, and he dropped a lot of wisdom today. To me, I think I'm passionate about this topic because I think I once felt like I was alone, and then once I got in the community, I showed up as my authentic self, which took some work to do. My life changed. Now I could sit and be present with people. I could get to know people. I could lead with curiosity, and through that, I've developed some lifelong friendships. I challenge y'all, if you're in community, to continue to go. But if you're not in community, maybe you're on the flip side of feeling like you're alone on this world, I can promise you that you're not. And I give you the hope and the courage to just take that one right next step, whatever that is. And if it's for you, great. And if not, do it again, because eventually you'll find your people. And when you find your people that care about you and you care about them, and the world changes, not just in the business community, but it's going to trickle on to home life too, my friends. So thanks for watching. If you're looking to connect with Kevin, hit him up on LinkedIn or where he said on the website. But I appreciate you all. Support local, love local. We're stronger together. Peace.